Hello students, I'm back with a new video. This is the part 3 of statistics, and in this we are going to study the concept of pie diagram. In pie diagram, what we are going to do is we'll see the challenging sums, not the direct sum. Before I start, my name is Santanu Das and I've been teaching from the last 27 years, and here I will try to make the concept as simple and easy for you. So to start with pie diagram, first let's write down the formula. In the case of pie diagram, we need to know the angles that are needed. So each angle, that is, we can call it as measure of arc, that is theta, is equal to individual value upon total value into 360. So in this way, what we need to do is we need to find out all the values and then we draw the pie diagram. What I'm going to do is I want to explain you the challenging sum. Before that, I'm going to do how the simple part is done so that you totally understand how, even if there is any kind of changes in the sum, how easy it is to solve. So let's start with, suppose I give you some values. Now, let me write down, this is pie diagram we will study. So suppose the investment made are investments amount in property 4,000, in shares 2,000, and in post 1,000, and in mutual fund 2,000, and deposits 3,000. So this is the annual investment in various categories, and you have been asked to find out, and you have been asked to draw the pie diagram of it. So how do we do it? First of all, as you can see from the formula, we need to know the angles of each of the values. So we need to find that out. So let's do it. For property, the angle is going to be, theta is going to be individual value. What is the value? 4,000. Now the total, you need to add this all. So this comes to 0, 0, 0, 5, 6, 8, 12,000. So property is going to be individual value 4,000, 12,000 into 360. So you do it, 3 zeros cancelled, 4 threes are, and 3 120. So property is going to be 120 degrees. Next is shares. Shares angle is going to be 2,000 upon 12,000 into 360. Solve it, and this you are going to get it as 60 degrees. You just calculate it. This zeros cancel, divided 2 6 and 60 are. Post is going to be, the value is, individual value is 1,000 upon 12,000 into 360. Solve it again, 3 zeros, 12, 30s are. 30. Post mutual fund value is 2,000 upon total is 12,000 into 360. That will again come to 60 degrees. And last but not the least, deposits, theta is going to be 3,000. Individual value is 3,000 upon total value is 12,000 into 360. So 3 zeros, that's divided 490. Now how will know that what you have done is correct or not? You just add all these values and you are going to get it as 360 degrees. Let's check it. 0, 15, 18, 20, 26, 360. So as the value total, we have got it as 360 degrees, means what we have calculated is right. Now, how do we draw a pi diagram? Pi diagram, you have to draw a circle of, say, radius 3 centimeter, 3.5 centimeter. That can be anything. Let's draw it here. Draw a circle. From the center, draw a radius, and one by one you take the values. So you are going to take the protractor over here and draw 120 degrees. Mark it, write 120 degrees. And what is that? Property. So you can write over here itself. I am writing in a short form, property. Next is shear 60 degrees. Now keep the protractor on this line and take a 60 degrees, and that is shears. Now next is post, that is 30 degrees. Now keep the protractor on this and measure a 30 degrees. 30 degrees, that is in post you have invested 3,000 rupees. Mutual funds, that's 60 degrees. Again, keep it on this and take 60 degrees. That's mutual fund. And the rest remaining automatically, it should have been this side. When you use the protractor, you'll get the exact thing. That is deposits, that is 90 degrees. Now this thing is quite easy. Most of the students, everybody is able to do it. When the values are given and they ask you to draw the pi diagram, what we are going to do is, we are going to see the other way. They have already given you the pi diagram and they have asked you questions. And most of the students find it really confusing how to solve it. So let's take few examples to understand. Suppose I say that investment in shares is rupees 2,000. Now, as I ask you 3 questions, and with the help of these 3 questions, we are going to sum up how to solve this thing. Suppose I have been asked, find out the deposits, and second, find out how much you have invested in mutual funds. Third, how much you have invested in post. So as I'm continuing with this sum, normal common sense will tell you, as this is the sum, so deposits you already know that answer is going to come 3,000. But in the case of exams, they will not give you all these things. They will just give you this pi diagram and they will give you this value, investment in shares is 2,000, find out the deposits. Pi diagram is already drawn. So how do you do? What students do is, they think that you have to use some other formula, you need to know something else. So it's not so, it's the same thing. It's just that we want something else in this. So for example, deposits. So in the case of deposits, as you can see, in the normal sum, the easy sums, it's a direct sum, we had to find out the angle deposit. What was the value? 90 degrees. But when the pi diagram is given, I already know the angle, that is 90 degrees. Means in this measure of arc theta, I already know it's 90. Okay. Now I want its individual value. Now individual value, obviously I don't know it. So let me write down the formula first. Individual value, I'm just writing this individual, the formula I have written it at the top, upon total into 360. Now about algebra, you always remember you can solve any formula only when one thing is unknown. Whenever there is 2 things unknown, means you cannot directly solve it. You need to first calculate something and after that we can use the formula. So in the given case, we don't know individual value also from the pi diagram. We don't know the total value also. Two things are unknown. So I cannot directly find out what is the deposit value. So what I will do is using the investment. So investment, what was the angle? Again put in the formula. Investment was, it's the shares. Shares, what was the angle in shares is 60 degrees. I'm substituting this formula. This time reverse, the answer is given, I need to find out the question. So 60 degrees I already know. Individual value, that I don't know. Yeah, I know it. Individual value is 2000 of shares. The total I don't know, into 360. So I want to calculate this. So this is in division. When it comes here, it becomes in the numerator. So it's going to be 2000 upon 60. This, when it comes here, it will come in the division, into 360. So 61s are 66 are. So what you get is 1,20,000. So once you have got this value, rupees 1,20,000, you see we have come to know the total value. And this was the jigsaw puzzle part which we needed to calculate. That is the total. Now once we know the total, now I can put the value. Suppose I give it number 1. I've already written. Put the value in 1. So what I'm going to get is, it's going to be 90 is equal to, I want to find out the individual value of deposits. So let me consider it as X upon total value. Now I've already calculated 1,20,000 into 360. So whichever thing you are calculating, it should be in the numerator. It's already there, so let it be there. So all these things comes this side. So division becomes multiplication, and multiplication becomes division. 94s and 430,000. So that means deposit is going to be 30,000. So basically, see, you don't have to learn any new formula. It is the same thing that we are going to do. Now about mutual funds, again the same thing. We already got the thing that we wanted. Measure of arc of mutual fund is 60 degrees. So I'll put in that. And I want to find out the individual value, how much is invested in mutual fund. And I know the total value. Total value already I have calculated. So it's 1,20,000 into 360. So that will come to X into everything this side, 60 into 1,20,000 upon 360. 66 2,000. So in mutual fund, 2,000 is invested. You can just check it. Mutual fund was 2,000. Post, again the same thing. Post, the value is going to be, how much is it for 30? So it's going to be 30 is equal to X 1,20,000 into 360. Calculate it. You just have to bring it here, and when you solve it, same way you solve it, so you are going to get X will be equal to 30 degrees. So just solve it. You will get it as 1,000. So post will be 1,000. So this is how the pie diagrams are solved. In your 10th standard portion, they have given you the pie diagrams, and from there you have to find out the values. I hope you have understood how to do. Any queries you can ask me in the comment section. And thank you for watching the video.